Hello, Methuselahs. This is Corey Brindley, and I am doing a little bit of field training in the LackeyCCG system, specifically the VTES module. Hi, guys. It's been a long time since I've been able to make a video. Wanted to pop in. I'm going to have a tournament this weekend. Wanted to have an opportunity for everyone to learn how to use the LackeyCCG system in a streamlined video. So hopefully this is helpful. If you're not familiar with LackeyCCG, Lackey is a platform that allows for any card images to kind of be loaded in, and it's a free-form table. It's also free to use. The VTES cards and information's all free to load in there, making it a great tool during the pandemic to continue doing things like meeting with your play group, holding tournaments, doing anything you really want to do VTES related. And there's tons of activities as far as tournaments and leagues that you can participate in that are organized via that platform. So today I'd like to go over a lot of the basics of using this platform, installing it, getting VTES set up, bringing your decks in, and then some of the quirks. It's a weird system because it's not VTES specific, so don't expect a lot of automation, don't expect a lot of flash. It's really just a tool that's going to allow you to play a game. You move things around a surface, it's just images, right? So you'll see very quickly. It's not very complex, but there's a lot of nuances to actually making it work. So we'll get into it real quick, and I'll bring you to my screen here. So if you don't have the link, and I'll put the link in the video description down below, so take a look. But if you don't have the link, all you got to do is Google Lackey VTES. It will take you to this page. It's the first thing that comes up, and you'll see here, if you are an English speaker, and I'm assuming since you're watching this video you fall into that category, you'll click the how to play video. This is a perfect list. There's nothing wrong with what they're telling you to do here, so follow this if you're not following me. But essentially what you'll do first is you'll click on this Windows version, you'll download a zipped file, you'll extract it to whatever storage device on your computer you'd like to use. Like a D drive, C drive. Anyways, I'll let you pick a drive. The important part is that you download it, you extract the file, and then it gives you the instructions here. So we're going to look at an updated version of Lackey, but I'll show you essentially what it's going to look like. So when it says here, we'll open it up after we've got it installed, and we'll go to the Pluggin War 3000 tab, and actually it's going to look very much like this. This is Pluggin VTES, so essentially I've already installed VTES, and it now shows that in that field. But it looks very similar, and most importantly, there's a field here that says paste auto update URL. As you see here, I've already got a URL posted, but you can find that URL right here where it says for fast PC/high resolution screens. I don't know why they struck out this part instead of just deleting it, but don't be confused. You'll use this link. You'll copy from the HTTP all the way to the .text. And that's my desktop. You'll bring it into the auto update URL field. You'll click the button and it will start to load in images from VTES. And this is going to then force you to shut down the program itself and then come back into it. And it will stop looking in a very weird blue screen. And I'm sorry I didn't have this up now. I didn't feel like going through the rigmarole of uninstalling this program, then bringing all my decks back in. It was kind of a hassle, and I love you guys, but not that much. All right, let's be serious. But once you go back into the program, it's going to look like this, and you'll actually be brought onto the stage here, and this is what the game looks like. I know that's kind of mind-blowing, but you'll have this table where you're not connected. So if you wanted to, you could bring decks into this and just sort them out, or play with them as you see fit. But in order to play with other people, you'll need to come to the server, and you'll see here it's got two options. It says connect to the game matching server or show advanced settings. Not recommended. They don't recommend it. I don't recommend it either. I've never clicked this button, so I'm just going to go to connect to the game matching server. And you'll see that there are games that are available. I know that's kind of small text, man. I'm sorry. Not at all prepared. But, you know, so we have games that we could join here. We could create a game by clicking on host a game. But we got other things we got to do before we can just hop right in. Most importantly, we'll just need to go and add a player name if we haven't done that already. Select a color. Most people start out as orange, so you'll see a lot of orange players out there, I believe. But you can also load an avatar. There are some are preloaded. You can also look at any of your other key bindings performance if you want sound on or off. There are some annoying sounds that people can abuse by typing in like .wave and kind of forcing you to listen to it. So I opt to turn the sounds off. But they can be beneficial because if you're not getting vocal cues, it will kind of tap you when it's your turn or when you have actions to do. And you'll see that in just a moment. So we'll set up our name. We'll hop into the game here. So right now we're offline, and that's okay. But we'll go to the deck editor portion. So this is where you would actually go to start building your decks if you'd like to use this platform. You can do so by clicking and then adding down here. There's plus, minus, or plus 4, 10, minus 1, minus all. So you've got options here as far as the things you'd like to add to your deck. There's all of them are combined here, but there's a crypt tab and a library tab, and that's important to load them all there. So in order to avoid kind of using this clunky platform and where you'll search for each card and then add them one by one, I use the Amaranth deck builder, mostly because it's a great deck builder. It's the only one I know of anymore. I don't know of any other deck builders that really exist, but over here on the export button, it actually has an export to Lackey option. So it's real easy. Click it, it creates a notepad or a Word file. Notepad, there we go. So I'll just actually copy the library portion, bring it into the library, and paste it. Boom. Deck's already in there. So I don't have to worry about going through and finding the cards and that clunkiness. If you want to, you can. I don't know if you just don't like Amaranth. Or it's easier for you to build in here, you have that option, but I never utilize that option. I just go ahead and add these things. Then I'll go to crypt here, do the same thing, paste, and then I'll add the deck name, which is Maris Loves You. And then I'll click the button Save Deck. Now, all your saved decks can be accessed via this panel here, so other things that you've already built or saved up here. Recent decks, essentially, is what's going to pop down. And you can look at those and modify them via this tool. I think it's a lot easier to use to pull cards in and out rather than build entire decks. But once you have a deck that you're ready to play with, you'll go into the server, you'll either create a game or you'll join a game. And you see here, MJ's got a game up. I would join it and harass him, but I don't think that'd be right. So anyways, we'll just kind of play around in our offline state here. But once you have a deck you're ready to play with, you'll simply click the button here in the middle that says Load Entire Deck to You. There it is. So this is where things start to get kind of dicey. I know most people can install a program and follow directions. That's the easy stuff to do. This is where we got to learn rubber meets the road. Learn what all these buttons do and how best to maneuver on this table that's not really built for VTES. So let's start with kind of going through our different things here. So on the left, you'll find the players. As players join the game in the seats, you'll find that they have different stats here. We can actually expand all these fields if we really want. So you can see any player's hand at any time, their library size, which and Ashi, which I think is great. You can't count someone's deck reasonably in a tournament, but here you can do it anytime you want. Just look over, see how many cards they have. Same with the crypt, the research area, which hopefully you don't use, but it's there. It's good for cards that require you to look at only certain things. People can kind of move them to your research area. There's lots of ways, and again, that's clunky. I'm trying to think of the True Bruja card that lets you look at everyone's hand. It's the most difficult card to use in this platform. So only do it if you're playing against people you really don't like, or you just really love True Bruja, just don't want to give it up. So you've got options. So anyways, so you got your players on the left. When you take pool damage or you spend pool to influence vampires, you'll simply click on your pool total. You'll select the amount that you go up or down. It comes in these groupings. I mean, it's clunky, but it's not terrible. VPs work the same way. If you want to track your VPs, absolutely click there. So MJ gave me a piece of feedback before I started this video, which was to treat each of these tabs like its own pile of cards. If you were to imagine your play area in front of you, each one of these tabs is an area that would be normally in front of you. So you got your hand. That's what you're holding, is the pile of cards in your hand. You have your library, ash heap, crypt, research, and remove. So it's all over here again, but when I want to move cards in between them, I simply drag them to those tabs. So those are your piles. So if you were, I'm putting it in my ash heap, I simply drag cards into my ash heap, and I'll show you that here in a second. Directly above your tabs are your quick fire buttons, where you have unlock all, which unlocks all the cards in your play area. It's pretty self-explanatory. I think draw library. So we'll go ahead and get a hand of 7 here. Sweet. And again, we can change the size of all of these fields. So if the cards are a little bit too big, we can smoosh them. They can bring them back up. I tend to do a little bigger and kind of move the screen here down. Give myself enough of the play area. Not squinting. Plus, I just look at the card images. That's good enough. And as you can see, they pop up on the left when you hover over them. So it's not so terrible. At any rate, so we have our cards here now. How do I know where to sit? I don't know. I mean, my position here will be first, second, third, fourth seat, right? But how do I know where my cards are represented on the table? Well, around the play area, you'll see these plus signs and minus signs. Who knew? The first plus sign in the top left gives you access to your mark and erase, most importantly. But there's also zoom and scaling. I wouldn't touch the zoom button. Most of the time, I've tried to play with the zoom. It just gets really hairy and kind of messes up the play area. Feel free to prove me wrong. Play with it and enjoy it if that's what makes you happy. But I would steer clear. Fair warning. If you click the mark button, it gives you options to do things like place an X on the table. This is really helpful at the beginning of the game when you're trying to find out where to sit. So second player, third player, fourth player, and the fifth player all know where they're going, even though my fat head is in the way. Sorry, fourth player, deal with it. So right now I'm the first player, and I need to draw my crypt card. So we can see here, there's a draw crypt card. I'll simply click it 4 times. Now, like I said, this isn't a platform that's built for VTES. It's not going to know that my cards are separate from everyone else's. So when they hit draw crypt, they're going to populate in the same area as best they can. So sometimes you can get some mixture. Now, how do I look and see which cards are mine? Well, if I hold the shift button when I hover over a card and it belongs to me, I'll be able to see it. So if ever there's a mix-up here in the crypt area, you simply hold the shift button and you're able to look at the guys. Now, this is another helpful hint. Lackey's got some little zips. If you don't fully remove your mouse, there's a good chance that it looks like 2 of the same vampire. You can see here, what happened? I'm sorry. As long as you hold down the shift button, or if you don't do it quick enough, sometimes you can get some errors like this. Whoa! Oh, there it is. See? So at any rate, you want to double check your vampires just to make sure you know who you're transferring to. There's been some people are hardcore on Lackey and they try and play it like very much like a live game where everything you do is stuck in time, and it's hard to say what's a mistake and what's not. But I think things like crypt related stuff you can get away with pretty well because everyone knows this. It's got some issues, right? The mark tool also allows you to draw an arrow. This helps. Hey, I'm transferring here. These are my brainwashes. Also, I'm playing all these brainwashes and I don't like you. If ever this area gets crowded with your terrible points, You just hit the erase button and you'll get rid of all of them. And again, another little thing here, as long as you're on mark, it's going to stay there until you actually turn it off. So now we got our 4 cards. We're going to move them up to the area which we've erased. Whoops, but you understand the premise here. So we've got our cards here. Once everyone else sets up, we'll simply start the game. And it's like any other VTES game. Some things you'll need to know. There are some options here on the left. If you want to announce your phases, you may. I don't think anyone will hold you to it. If you click master and don't play a master card, and then say, oh, I forgot something going unlock, that's no one's playing like that. You may hold yourself to that if that is what you want, but no one else does. So it's really that you play a master card, that's your master phase as far as everyone's concerned. So this is a great way to track your turn for yourself, especially if you're not super familiar with VTES prior to getting into Lackey. Other things to consider here. So as we play cards from our hand, we'll put them out on the table. Just simply drag and drop. If it were a blocked action, just simply drag it over to my ash heap. Doesn't get any more difficult than that. Now, let's say I need to draw a card. Oh man, I hit it twice. I made a huge mistake. How can anyone trust me? Well, there's this cancel draw button. You simply click it, and there you go. Easy peasy. See? The last card you draw moves back to the deck. Now, you can shuffle by right-clicking. Now, that's another great tip that MJ gave me, and MJ plays this all the time. If you come on Lackey, you will see MJ here. Guy loves Vampire. So right-clicking on things is your path to other options. And again, it's clunky if you right-click, so you want to leverage the buttons as much as you can, but right-clicking on a card will give you the options to unlock or lock. Double-clicking allows you to lock and unlock as well. Simply double-clicking is good enough. However, you can right-click and do that. You can do gain blood or burn blood. Luckily, those options are available on your quick bar. So if I were to click this card, I want to make sure I'm transferring to the right person. Oh, it's Maris. Perfect. I'm going to click on her, and I'll hit gain blood, and you'll see that she gains a blood. What we're missing here on this bar is gain life. So if you're playing allies and you want to be super hardcore, you right-click and you hit gain life, and then anytime they take damage, you got to go to burn life. And I represent all counters in Lackey with blood. I've never had anyone complain about it. I've never seen anyone really have an issue, but if it's harder for you to track, you have the option to use these other buttons. And I'm pretty sure you can use the preferences to use the shortcut keys to make these different options available to you through button presses. I'm just not into that. I like ease. I'm lazy. I want my leisure to be accessible and as easy as possible. And this is already kind of a bear, right? But at least we get to play Vampire. All right, so we got to the point of our turn. We're doing our transfers. I'm going to go ahead and bring her up just for whoopsie poopsie. See, I just did a cancel draw. Aha. And then right-clicking again, back to my original point, we can shuffle the deck once we put them back in there. So if we do accidentally draw too many, we hit cancel draw, right-click on the library tab, and shuffle. We'll go ahead and bring Maris up. Oopsie poopsie. Oh, too many. Burn blood. We'll make sure we spend our blood pool. This is my biggest fault when I play this game is that I don't spin the pool when I transfer. Or, not on purpose, I forget. But the cool thing about Lackey is you can't pull the wool over anyone's eyes. You can't fake the numbers because you simply compare beads. And then you pull up this log. Oh, man. How do I get this log up here? Show me my log. Oh, man. Here we go. There we go. You see here, everything you do is logged in the text bar. So if someone's like, hey, did you take Anarch Revolt? You're like, well, why are you asking me? Go look at the text and then just say, hey, man, you didn't take Anarch Revolt. No need for passive aggression in this VTES game. And I say that and I'm laughing, and everyone who plays this game knows that I am lying. Anyways, the key here again is you can go back through the text log. You can see anything that happens. It's easy to call Corey out when he forgets to click the pull button when he transfers, because you see that he didn't transfer. You look through the log and you can see, hey man, you're not spending your pool, you got too much. So no heated arguments, no way to really cheat the system when it comes to your pool total, unless nobody is paying attention. And that's just not going to happen. So we got Maris out. You'll see, oh, my apologies, I forgot to tell you. So control, holding the control button and clicking allows you to flip cards over. So anytime there's contestation, control, click, boom, 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 will allow you to flip things over. Now, there's no way to automate her card ability. So how do I indicate to other individuals that I'm doing it? Hopefully we're on Discord, I can tell them. But if not, how would I communicate with other people? It's such a weird thing. Game, no voice. So worst case scenario, you actually have these buttons here. Now, I told you there are these plus and minus sides around the board. Here's your plus sign, and we can see all these different options. These are all voice commands that you can create by clicking the button. So when I want to use Maris's special card text, click the button that says card special text.
Card special text.
And it announces that I am doing the special text. And you see that I just locked and unlocked Maris Streck. Now, even if you can't talk to me, even if we don't speak the same language, there is a very high probability you understand what I'm trying to do. Feel free to just kind of click around and see what these all are. But again, it's everything you would need. Bleed, hunt, diablerie, rescue, the list goes on. Combat related stuff is the most helpful. Even in when you have Discord, things can bog down. Think about a table of vampire votes and combat are time sinks. So this is no different, with the added challenge of not having someone there to kind of pound the table and say, let's go, let's go, let's go. You don't have people to look at. You can kind of drag it on and just kind of poke ass, just how it works. So using the buttons in combat and in voting situations can be helpful, because it sends a voice to everybody. Hey, come on, let's focus on what's going on. Let's move it forward. And it helps keep it organized in the chat too. You can see what people do. So things like hand strike, presses, all that stuff's here. So the last thing that you would need to play this game, or just to fully utilize the system here, is this last plus or minus. And this minus opens up this sidebar normally. I don't know why I didn't. Oh, there it goes. It was a plus sign. I just screwed it up. So there's another mirror of the hand library, etc. So exactly what you have here. However, it also has a tokens side. And this is where you would find things like Anarch counters that you're going to play on your guys. Black hand, corruption, hedge, you understand. Now, they even put the imbued rules in here if you really feel like reading them. Hopefully no one plays imbued. Here's a liaison. What is this? I've never even seen this. This is new to me. That's how deep this system goes. All right, so that's it. And I know it's a lot, and I talk a lot, but you'll get in here and you'll start to press the buttons, get a feel for what you want to do. The games play really quickly. Now, I will say this is the last little, Lackey nuance, which is 5-player games are 2.5 hours. You're not going to play a 5-player game in time, a vast majority of the games, if you try and go for 2 hours. And we've learned this through countless leagues. So 5-player games are 2.5 hours. 4-player games, you still stick to the 2 hours. I'd say in a tournament setting, probably go 2.5 no matter what. But assuming, everyone's moving along. 2.5 hours is enough to get done with any game. So very much like live VTES. So that's all I have for you guys. I'm really hoping that I can get as many people to come in and enjoy the Lackey platform. It's free. It's fun. You still have people out there, and you know, you get what you pay for. There are certainly things that this could do better, but you can't play VTES without it. And when it comes right down to it, it's not bad. It's just a lot. So take some time, learn the system, come in and play. Find me, DJ Hedgehog, MJ VTES. I know is super active and very helpful for new players. Look at the event calendar. Hopefully we're going to be having a lot more online events, inviting as many people who care about this game and enjoy it to come and enjoy it with us. And this is the best way to do it. We're in a pandemic, guys. Even if we're not, we could reach out. We could play in our underwear. And that's what I'm going to do as soon as we get done. Have a good night and enjoy this silly photo. Thanks, Methuselahs.